I didn't buy that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Yo, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? This is the Sports is My Love Language podcast, and I'm excited to be back, man. We took a little minute to handle some adult business. We've been doing some things, making some moves, but we're back and we're here once again. Um, as always, I got my right hand man, my man Petey Pablo, aka El Schefter. Why do we call him El Schefter? Because, ladies and gentlemen, man, a lot of times he has the info way before even the news outlets put it on. You know what I mean? We get texts and stuff in our group chat, and we're like, "Yo, how'd you know that?" Oh man, I got a source. I don't know who his source is, but trust me, it's reliable and he's on point. And as always, he comes with he's the numbers guy, he's the analytical guy. I'm more the shoot from the hip gut guy. So you know what? You're always going to get a little bit of both sides. So I'm excited to have you here. Thank you for joining us in our living room, in our barbershop. Once again, this is the Sports is My Love Language podcast. Shout out to Javito. Shout out to the AK. Shout out to my man Dre. Hopefully they get back on soon, if not even a little later. But if they do, we got plenty to talk about. So yo, first things first, man. A lot of stuff going on in the world of sports. We got baseball. We got basketball going on. We got, of course, always you definitely have football. That's the gift that keeps on giving. So you know it's all good. We're definitely going to talk. Who do you got for Tank Davis versus Garcia? We're going to talk about it. I got a little segment on that. I'm definitely going to talk about that. We're going to start off here. OBJ to the Ravens. What do you think of the deal? What do you think, Pablo? What do you think was? Give me two things. Number one, give me OBJ his mentality. What do you think? Did he chase the bag? What was his thought process? And give me the team's thought process behind going after him. What are your thoughts there?
As far as the OBJ aspect, I think I think there were some teams out there that or this thought process that he should be only getting like $4 or $5 million a year given the injury history. No one's questioning the talent, no one's questioning his skill sets, but it's just like, bro, you've been two major ACL. You can almost liken that type of injury to a wide receiver to a quarterback that's had like 2 shoulder surgeries, right?
Yeah,
it's hard to come back to your old form. But I still think he got a little bit more money than he should have gotten. I think if he would have gotten $1 million, $12 million, I think that would have been just right. But that's just me. So he gets a $15 million guaranteed deal that can go up to $18 million if he hits certain incentives. Like if he gets like 1,000 yards receiving, I think, and like 8 or 9 touchdowns. Things that are reasonably, I think he can reach, especially if he's going to be the guy on that team. And I think that was the best offer. He said in his press conference that he was really hyped after he met with the owner. And, he told his agent that he wanted to be a Raven. So that was that. You're not going to blame him for going after the money. Be the number one guy for sure. You're going to have a decent complement of receivers. You're going to have Rashad Bateman back, who was playing really well before he got injured. I think they signed Nelson Aguilar, who's a veteran. I mean, he's not a world beater, but, he doesn't have to be the number one, and he's never really been that. And then they have Duvernay, who was also playing decently, really, really good before he got injured. So if you got those 3 guys plus a healthy Beckham, plus that tight end, and the different running backs they got back there with Justice Hill, excuse me, and Gus Edwards, you're good. You're golden on offense. If you got Lamar Jackson back there. Right? Because even, you know what I'm saying? So that leads me to the team. Number one, OBJ said he got no assurances from Lamar about this is going to make it a lock that he's going to come sign. So OBJ did this knowing the lock on it, right? Great. But if you're Lamar, does this make you, think about, how you want to go about your situation? It puts a little bit of pressure on him, and the team probably is one of the reasons they signed Odell was for that. But what's been the knock on the Ravens this whole time that they did not do? Get a established wide receiver. It hasn't panned out. They've drafted the most wide receivers in the last couple of years, right? But they just haven't panned out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He's right.
He's
right about that. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with it. So the Ravens finally did the one thing in this retooling of the offense that they've never done is get a number one guy, skill wise, talent wise, right? Talent. We know that he is the number one receiver based on his talent. So they finally did that. So now it's almost like, yes, we've finally at the 11th hour, we're going to do something for Lamar. Yeah, we've given them wide receivers. They're young. They've gotten injured. The offense wasn't tailored to them. It stayed the same with Greg Roman. But guess what? They got a new OC now too. So I think it was a smart move by the Ravens, and then we'll see how this works out for Lamar. But if Lamar is there with those pieces, assuming they're healthy, and Mark Andrews and those running backs, that's going to be a very good fucking team because that offense doesn't have to be totally retooled. When you've got a talent like OBJ there, he can kind of do his own thing a little bit, right? You don't have to have like a full set scheme of an offense, and that will help Lamar too. So it could turn out to be something really, really good for the Ravens. Everyone involved.
He said the offense will be hurt by week 8. You're probably right. I mean, here's the thing. I think
you can't argue that. You can't.
This could possibly be what you said early on. You had been preaching that Lamar needs to flex his muscles and really put it down so that they get him more talent. Because he was not happy in that system he was running. See, what people don't know and what people don't realize is Lamar Jackson did not come from a wing T or some type of pro run what do you call it? Run option offense. He came from a pro style offense, an NFL pro style offense. He came from he threw the ball, he made the reads. That's what he came from. He improvised a lot because at Louisville, the coach, that's the coach what the coach ran. He improvised a lot because Louisville had zero NFL talent at any position. They did not one player got drafted at a wide receiver. Not one player got drafted on tight end. Not one player got drafted on the offensive line. Not one. Their running backs, none of the running backs got drafted. Their defense did have some draft picks. So he literally was in a pro style offense where he was forced to make every read and he only had one read. He was only able to make one read because the talent wasn't there. And then he had to run for his life. That's what people forget. People forget that he came from that type of offense. So when he gets to the NFL and the NFL just basically throws it on his back and says, well, we're just going to ride you. You're the pony. You're going to get us to the promised land. Oh, what's plan B? No, there's no plan B. Sometimes you can throw it to Andrews, but for the most part, no, it's just back to you. It's 3rd and 18. Who can I throw it to? No. They're going to run a quarterback sneak. That's what they were doing to this guy. You know what I'm saying? They were just giving him the ball, and that's not fair. And now what I see is they maybe have appeased him a little bit where they're going to get him an OC that's going to let him open up the offense a little bit. Maybe let's find out about that arm. Let's find out about that arm. And that offense he was in with the wide receivers he had, we don't know. Everybody who says he can't pass, you don't know that. There's nothing that you could tell me that tells me you know that for a fact. You know why you don't know that for a fact? Because there was no offensive weapons and there was no offense in which he was stretching the field. Not one. So you can't tell me that. You don't know that. Nobody knows that for a fact. So number 2,
I wouldn't even say the opposite. The opposite.
Right, it hindered him.
I would say the opposite because there was flashes of it at times that he was slinging.
Right. Exactly, Bob. What does it mean? So my thing is this. So now you get him in with an OC that's going to open up the offense a little bit for him. So now his legs. Think about this. Now if he can even do a little bit of work with his arms, now his legs really become an asset. You know what I'm saying? But now you have him with an OBJ who is a talent, and then we have Bateman who actually played pretty well. He did that pretty well. They do that to every top quarterback. Notice Lamar, he can pass the ball. He's just not accurate like a top. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know he's not? You're going to give me his numbers? Who was he throwing to? And in the offense that he was in, it's not fair to compare his offense, his RPO, straight up RPO, not like an RPO where you have Philadelphia's wide receivers. Not an RPO that you have a Philly's wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? No. RPO where your best wide receiver was Bateman.
Yeah,
who didn't play a
and
full year.
accuracy is always accuracy will always be
And
subjective.
listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying this person's wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is we're gonna find out for the first time. Now the spotlight is on him. We're gonna find out now. This is when we're gonna find out. Now I don't have any excuses to give you. You know what I'm saying? Now we gotta kind of go with the flow and find out who he really is. You know what I'm saying? But so we got that part of it, right? You get him a wide receiver like OBJ who's gonna command respect. He's gonna get a double team over the top after maybe a couple of weeks of really showing that he still has it. You got a Bateman that's he's a good receiver, bro. He just has to have, he just got to get into the flow of the game, get into the flow of the season, and really train his body like a pro so he can last the whole season. Andrews is Andrews. He's a monster. He's gonna get open. He's that guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They've always had a running game.
The coordinator they hired was the offensive coordinator. It was the offensive coordinator at Georgia.
So I think we're gonna see. So basically, I know I sound like a cheerleader for Lamar, but I want to backtrack a little bit. I am more so on the let's wait and see. Let's wait and see how this works out because now the training wheels are off, in my opinion. Now we're gonna see how he functions in a pro style NFL offense with weapons. All the excuses are off the books. So now we're gonna see that. Now that's what I want to see. Let's see where that goes. Once that happens, look, if he shits the bed now, by all means, Mike, you fucked up. You don't know what you're talking about. Cool, I'll accept it. You know what I mean? But until then, please let's go and see what he has going on. Yeah. So that's the catch right there with my thoughts on Lamar and OBJ and the as far as OBJ, the Jets were in it and they backed out because he wanted 15 mil. And they were like, nah, right. We like you at 12. We like you at 11, 12, maybe even 13. But we're not jumping that gun at 15 mil. It's not happening. Not for a guy that, hasn't played a full season. Again, 2 ACLs, whatever. I think that's why when you break it down, I really feel like the Ravens, who, I know they do their due diligence. And I feel like this was a gift to Lamar. This was like one of the early presents in like, we're gonna work this out. Here's okay. You know what OBJ is? OBJ is a promise ring. He's a promise ring, not an engagement ring, not a wedding ring. He's a promise ring saying, hey, look, I'm gonna be loyal, I'm gonna be faithful, you're gonna be mine. You know what I mean? But we're not quite married, we're not quite engaged. And that's what OBJ is. He's that little gift that he gave him, like, yo, hold it together. We're gonna do good things together. So from that standpoint, OBJ, chase the bag, man. Go get that money. I think it was the best offer he got laid out on the table. He realized with incentives, if he gets up to 18 million and he shows out, he's gonna have a very big market. Because people do think highly of him. Again, they're just worried about his injury. So the bag is out there for him to get, even after. All right, cool. Let's go. You want to either go NBA? You let me know, Power. NBA, or can I go into my?
I wanted to touch on real quick. Move out of the NFL. Almost on deal sale with the group. The part that I wanted to get your thoughts on is the group that has the quote unquote winning bid is not. It's a non-exclusive right now. There's another groups that can still vie for it. But let's just assume that the group that is led by Josh Harris, which is the I was looking up the background. The Harry Blitzer Sports Entertainment. They own the 76ers and they own the Devils, and then they also own a piece of an English Premier League team. So it has those two guys that have that company, and then like a DC billionaire, and it has Magic Johnson as part of the group. Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that would happen or should happen is Magic should be the face in terms of the ownership group to get that African American face, right? That minority face as ownership out there, right? And let the other guys just be behind the scenes on there. The other thing that I think they should do, sticking with the Lamar Jackson thing, is get this deal done as soon as possible and give up what you got to give up to go get Lamar Jackson.
And make a bid, yeah.
As a Giants fan, I would wouldn't like that, but I mean, it would make sense, right? Get a big name quarterback that they've been needing. You've got a very famous, successful African American businessman as part of the ownership group. That fan base is loyal. As shitty as they've been for all this time.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be really good for the NFL. So I want to see what you think about that.
I think that would be, in a perfect world for them, that would be the move. Magic has the clout to break the boys club. He has the clout. You know what I'm saying? He has the face. He has the clout. He has the charisma to definitely be the face and be the guy. You know what I'm saying? So I see that part of it. But that'd be a bold move, man. Is Ron Rivera going to stay? Is he the coach coming next year? Are they going to look for a new coach? I think
too late. It's too late for that.
What's the system? You know what I'm saying? I think if they need to know, in order for them to pull that move off, they would have to be very confident, right, in the fact that they knew what system they were going to be running for the next couple of years. You know what I'm saying?
Because that stuff, that stuff's already discussed prior to. Obviously, you're doing your due diligence on the team.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Like, do they keep him? Does he stay? Does he go? And then, I think it makes perfect sense. And that would be best case scenario right now for Lamar.
Let me see who the Commanders OC is, because they fired a lot of their coaches.
Yeah, they would reset the market if they did that, and he would get the bag.
Oh, dude! I just came. Eric Bieniemy's the OC.
Oh well, okay. I mean, yeah, let's.
And Eric Bieniemy has a I need to prove it, chip on his shoulder as well.
Okay, that's right. Eric Bieniemy is the OC. Yeah, I would like to see that. I would like to see
the pieces they got. Yeah, with the pieces they have with the Terry McLaurin and Dotson at wide receiver. They have the two running backs, Brian Robinson.
That's listen, that's a very good lineup, bro.
Yeah.
Anybody who thinks the Redskins don't have a championship lineup, I've not been paying attention, bro. They're a quarterback short. Their defensive line has a lot of potential. They got D-backs, linebackers. Their offensive line is good. Their running backs are good. Their wide receivers are good. That's a good team, bro. If they could get it together.
Like I said, I would hate it, but that's what I would do if I'm that ownership group. Let's get the shit signed. And we've got 2 first-round picks. The draft is in 2 weeks. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, we've got a couple of first-round picks. Fuck it. Let's give them up. And let's get Lamar.
Yeah,
you've got a really good offensive coordinator. He can do probably some of the similar things that he came up with in Kansas City with a mobile quarterback, right? And maybe run an RPO with Brian Robinson. I think, it's as part of the overall scheme, not necessarily the only part of the scheme. But you've got quality receivers that you could just drop back and throw to. Yeah, and again, original about Lamar. That's another situation where you got to prove it. You've got your pieces, so.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like the thought process. That's not a bad.
I wonder if they'll change the name again. I wonder if these guys will change the name.
I don't know, right? You know what? That costs a lot of money, man. It's a lot of licensing, a lot of gear that's already out. That's kind of like, come on, I don't know if they would do that. I think they would be smart enough to just keep it the way, or maybe like change it just a little bit, like Commandos to Commander. Like
Commandos. What, we don't wear underwear?
Yeah, no underwear. But all right, we're gonna let me do my tank and what do you call it, rant real quick, and then we'll just go into the NBA, and you could give me your opinion on a couple of teams and where you think we're at. I really want to hear what your thoughts are from the top down as far as the NBA is concerned. All right. We finally have boxing doing right by the people. This is, by all accounts, a mega fight. Now, is it a mega fight in terms of belts and experience? No. These are both fairly young guys. They've had some wars, but they're young guys, and they're still very early in a great career, both of them. but they check these boxes. Megastars. When I tell you megastars, is Tank Davis sells out arenas. Ryan Garcia sells out arenas. Ryan Garcia, 9 million people, 9 million followers on Instagram. Tank, a couple point something million on Instagram. You know what I mean? Social media. So they're that new age. They're that new age superstar. You know what I mean? And the beauty of it is this. They want to fight each other. They want to fight each other. It's two very contradicting styles. You know what I mean? But yo, styles make fights. This is crazy, right? So let me break it down to you like this. I believe Tank Davis is the better boxer. I believe he's the better boxer. Footwork, he's a phenom. He's actually like he's not a good boxer. He's a great boxer. He's great with power in both hands. He has power in both hands. He can knock you out with both hands. He's a little mini Mike Tyson. He's a monster. With Tank Davis, it's not whether his talent is there. It's not how his training camp goes. I always tell people, you want to know how Tank is going to fight? Let's go and let's listen to the rumor mill around him. Is it noisy? Is he beefing with his girl? Is he having a problem with his cousins, his dad? Did he get robbed? Find out what's going on around him in his training camp. And that's the Tank that shows up in the ring. He doesn't have the discipline. And we're going to see him because he stepped away from Floyd Mayweather for the first time. Like, well, the second time, but for the first time on this bigger stage, he stepped away. He's not training with Floyd, none of that. He's his own man. Let's see if he can keep that level of discipline because that's what Floyd brought to the table. He was like, yo, I'm going to teach you how to be a pro. And I'm going to teach you how to push the noise out. And when he pushes the noise out, there's nobody that can beat him. Out of the top 5 guys, Haney, Teofimo, whatever, though, in that weight class, give me Tank. I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but give me Tank. Now, the flip side of that, he's up against somebody who I honestly feel is prepared to die in that ring. Ryan Garcia is not all talk. Ryan Garcia is not just an internet darling. Ryan Garcia is a baby-faced assassin with a left hook from hell. His left hook, right? His left hook is one of the most devastating punches in boxing. And that's the only punch that he could outpunch Tank in with that left hook. So I don't know how much else he brings to the table. So my final wrap-up on this fight is I believe it's going to be a brawl. It will be a brawl. And in the first 4 to 5 rounds, Garcia is going to make Tank look bad. He's going to make him look bad because he's bigger and he's aggressive and he's going to push forward. But here's the deal. In round 7, 8, 9, 7 with a body shot, starts to wear him down. 8 going back to the body, jabbing him. Round 8, 9-ish, Tank is going to deliver a punch that his ancestors are going to feel. And he's going to violently, listen, this is my prediction, is going to violently, might even permanently change Ryan Garcia for the rest of his life. That's how hard he's going to hit him. Because Ryan gets hit. Ryan gets hit. He's very good when he's focused early on in the fight and he starts to feel good and he's in there, da, 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 da. If that, he got hit by a punch by, I believe it's Taylor. I think it was Taylor that knocked him down early in the fight. Don't excuse me if I'm wrong on that name.
Wasn't it Luke Campbell?
Luke Campbell, thank you. My bad. When he fought Campbell, he got knocked down. Okay. And I remember thinking, if Tank threw that punch, Garcia doesn't get up.
It's funny you brought that up, and also Danny put a comment. It was something I was going to reference. I was just looking up other pros kind of thoughts on it, and I wanted to ask you your thoughts. This one guy, he was just saying similar to what Danny just said. He keeps his chin high, and that's the worry, especially if they're like back and forth. You can see him just getting bombarded, right? But then he says Tank has been guilty of loading up, but he's got a very good boxing brain. That he doesn't get the credit for having.
No, he's genius level IQ in boxing.
Yeah. And then his final thought on this is what makes it intriguing is that Tank might keep loading up, and because of Garcia's range and his own speed, he might keep him on the end of his long shots and hurt him.
I'll tell you why I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way because, like Teddy Atlas says, Tank puts water in the basement. Putting water in the basement is when you go to the body. And he works that body, and he works it as good as anybody. And he's going to work that body. That's why I said he's going to come out aggressive. And I feel like what he's saying is going to happen from round 1 through 7. It's possible.
This guy does have Davis by KO.
Yeah, because in round 7, that's when the hands start to come down because now you're getting hit in that body, and your legs start to go, and your liver starts to quiver, and then that's when Tank says, "Bye-bye," because let me tell you something. He can finish you with the right hand. He can finish you with the left hand. He can finish you with an uppercut. He can finish you with a right. There's not a lot of punches that Tank cannot finish with you with. So I think it's going to be a great fight for 7 rounds. I think it's going to be amazing for boxing because it's 2 guys that are willing to get in that ring, and go. You know what I mean? But come the 7th round, I think methodically. Now, there's always a chance that left hook lands. And if that left hook lands, not many people survive that. But I got Tank by KO knockout win in the 8th round.
So you've got Garcia that has to fight a very strategic based
fight. Yeah. If he can keep him at the end of his punches and keep that length, right, and not let Tank get to the body,
right.
If he can do that and survive that means he's fresh in the 7th, 8th, 9th round.
And you're thinking Davis will eventually force him into a mistake or catch him at one little.
Davis is just a clinician, so Davis is going to throw to the body, up to the body. The way he throws he's going to set it up. He's going to get to that body,
right,
and he's going to get to the arms, and his strength. He's so strong that a punch in the elbow, by the 9th round, you can't even pick up this arm.
Yeah, it takes its toll, like the MMA fighters, hitting the calf, right? The low kick on the calf, right? It takes its toll.
So I believe it's Tank by KO, and I just need him to come in with his mind right. If he comes in with his mind right, there is no boxer in that division that could fuck with Tank if his mind is right. Him and Teofimo Lopez have that in common. Teofimo Lopez is another great boxer. All you don't watch their camp, you don't watch how they trained, you don't watch any of that. With those 2 guys, you watch the noise going on outside. Is his baby mother mad at him? Is his father talking shit? Are they arguing? And on Tank's side, Tank go back to I'll tell you right now, if I find out Tank went back to Baltimore to hang out, if I read anything that says Tank was in Baltimore or Tank was hanging with Adrian Broner, fuck that. I'm not putting any money on him. Nothing, not $1. But if I don't hear any of that, my money's on Tank. My money's on Tank. But Ryan makes it Tank on the Yeah. You think? Oh, I'll take it on the count from a body shot. I would like to see that. Hey, man, I would love to see Ryan land that body shot. My thing is this. I disagree with you. If he catches that left hook, Tank might be out of there. I don't think it's an 8 count. I think Tank is out of there. But I'm going to say this. I think overall, so my prediction is Tank, KO, 8th round. And it's going to, like I said, it's going to play out 1 through 7. It's going to look very competitive, very close. But you're going to slowly, if you're watching the fight, you're going to be paying attention. And you're going to see Davis really he's not going to look great, but he's going to be putting that money in the bank. Dollar by dollar, right to the body. Dollar by dollar, right to the body. Pop. And then it's all he's going to make that deposit, that last deposit, and then boom, he's going to cash out in the 8th round. Boom, over. And again, he's going to look good though. And I think that Ryan Garcia walks out of that ring with more props than people shitting on him, because he's going to fight like a warrior. The guy has heart. You know what I mean? There's no taking that from him. All right, moving on. That's my call, man. So if anybody wants to know.
Let's just stay in since this is a preview. let's stay in combat sports. Let's do a quick
Oh.
recap of
Yeah.
UFC 287.
Man, we're just going to talk about the two top fights.
Yeah, the two top fights.
We'll start with
Izzy, or you want to start with Burns?
Let's start with Burns.
I mean, I don't have much. Yeah, kind of went what I thought. Burns take him down, hit some shots, beat him up first couple of rounds, and then it got a little exciting in the third round, and then Burns kind of hurt him a little more. But though he's a tough son of a bitch. And say what you want to say about him.
Yeah.
He kind of in the third round started saying, like, finally, dude, you fucking started doing something. But by that time, I felt the fight was already over in terms of who was going to win the fight, controlling the first two rounds, by all the takedowns and shit. We know it's always been Masvidal's weakness. He's a striker. He's not a wrestler. And we felt that if Burns just does that throughout the majority of the fight, he's going to win the fight as long as he avoids getting his ass knocked out by a punch. I mean, that's kind of how I would just summarize that first fight. It went kind of how I thought it would.
I was looking for it, right? Because I wanted to repost it. You know how, like, if I predict something, I try to copy it and then repost it on our Sports is My Love Language page. In one of the groups, I was like, oh, he brought his kids out to the weigh-in. Yeah, he's done. It's done. Like in my head, he was. Oh, that's him saying, I'm gone. I'm retiring. You know what I'm saying? Like in my head, once I saw that, I was like, oh, Jorge's not really. He's not. His heart isn't there. He's a great fighter. He's a whatever, but his heart's not in it anymore. He wanted to just kind of like, Masvidal looked off and he couldn't get nothing going.
Yeah, I mean that's how it went, right? He was getting taken down, and then Burns would get this one punches in there, right? He was hitting a couple shots in there here and there, take him down, a couple more shots. And it was like, you're right. It looked like it was his swan song.
Yeah. The whole thing that smelled of retirement, for me at least. I can't get into the technical aspect and what he was missing, but he didn't do. But I'll tell you this much: I felt like the whole thing smelled of retirement. Like he's been checked out mentally. He was ready to go. So that's it was what I thought I was going to see him. And if you look back, I don't want to shit on him, bro, because at one point I was super high on this guy. But when you look back, none of his wins aged well. Not one. Ben Askren, he knocked him out in a record. Yo, that guy got destroyed by a YouTuber.
But that was just a spectacular move. It wasn't. I don't think that was really about because who he beat, nor the way he beat him.
Right. You think about Donald Cerrone. He beat Donald Cerrone. Think about Darren Till. All these guys got murdered after that a bunch of times. So it's like,
No, I mean, I think more about the guys. I think about the guys he lost to.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah. Yes. Cool.
That was his ceiling.
You could tell he was like a clear.
That was his ceiling, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna say this. Let's talk Izzy versus Pereira. That shit had so many layers to it. I sent that anime thing. How fucking dope was that, yo? That anime version of the knockout where he has a fucking axe in his hand, boom, and then he has the fucking bow and arrow. That shit was beautiful, right? And I think the whole storyline between them two plays out like the perfect anime movie. This is the lone soldier that can't overcome him and then finally beats him. And then when he beats him, he has an issue with the son. And then years later, the son goes and trains and comes back and gets vengeance for his dad. How fucking crazy would that be? You know what I mean? But the beauty of it is this. So people were like, oh, but he was hurt. Da da da. Yes, he was. He was absolutely. His leg was compromised when he got checked. But there's 3 different footages of him in training, practicing that knockout. Exactly how it happened. He even says he was with Bierman, and he's like, so I bounce off the cage, I'm gonna throw, and then when he backs up and retreats, and they would talk about how he puts his hand down, he's like, I'm gonna come over the top, pop, and I don't know if you noticed this in the first fight, when the time was running out, he almost knocked him out, and that's the same. He did the same exact thing. He timed it in the pocket, and boom, and then my man, the white-haired guy, I forgot his name, man. He does really good breakdowns. He broke that shit down, and he goes, and he circled his eyes. Look at his eyes. He looked because he looked out of it. He goes, no, he's all there. Look, he has his eyes on his hand. and he saw it when Pereira put that hand down to cock it. Yo, Izzy came with that short, dong, 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 and then when he landed him with that fit, that shit was a work of art, man. And I could just imagine the relief. I could imagine the relief that came with. You know what I'm saying? Now, what are your thoughts? Do you think he should have to fight Pereira again, or are you more like along the line of thinking of Izzy saying, no, I gave him the opportunity because whatever, and I had earned my way back already. He needs to go back and earn his way back. What do you think he's doing next?
I mean, I am of the general mindset when it comes to something like that of combat sports is like if you're one in one, let's have the rubber match. Just from a general, concept, especially guys like that. But I don't Izzy's thoughts, when it comes to that. But if Izzy's like, well, it's behind me. Yeah, he got me the last time, but you know what? I just came back and proved that I am better than him because I dropped him. I used a similar strategy I was supposed to use the last time. I didn't execute it the last time, and I made a mistake that got me, beat. I came back and says, no, I know I'm better than him, and here's how I showed it to you. So you know what? I don't think we should fight again. If it was a really good fight that went to the end, and Izzy wins it or something like that, then maybe there's a stronger case for a rubber match. But I'm not gonna hate on his thoughts. That if he wants, he's got to come back and moving on. But I think Danny just wrote that he said Pereira's moving up to 205.
Yeah, he looked really bad. He looked really bad at the weigh-in. He looked sucked up.
Yeah.
And when they did the weight, they did this weight thing. They said, so they were at 180, right? 185. They said that he was 205. He cut down to 185. No, he was like 216, cut down to 185. And then the day of the fight, he was somewhere around like 209. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is a big guy. He's a big guy. He's not no small dude. That's You know what I'm saying? So I don't blame him.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm okay with it. And then let's see who's gonna be the next guy to step up to Izzy and see if he actually has a chance to beat him. I
would like to see, ideally, what I would like to see is Pereira goes up, wins the belt at 205, and then Izzy goes up and tries to become the champ at 205 and what do you call it? And then he wins that.
Hate that.
And tries to go up and fights John Jones, and John Jones fucking destroys him. That's what I would like to see. He go up to try to fight John Jones.
That's funny.
They talk so much shit to each other, man. But it was just a great fight, bro. It was a great fight.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I always look at weigh-ins. Weigh-ins mean so much to me when I'm watching these fighters and the way they fight and everything. The weigh-in, the way they interact when they face each other. One of the most intimidating things I've ever seen in any weigh-in ever was when fucking Pereira showed up with the mohawk thing and the fucking green paint on his face. As in the indigenous Brazilian warrior, bro. And he got in Izzy's face. I was like, I could have told you right there he was gonna win. I was like, holy shit, bro. I'm gonna shit my pants. That guy looked, that's one of the dopest looks that I had ever seen in my life. That guy came in with that indigenous warrior paint with the hair and came in there and was like, boom. I was like, he's channeling his inner gods, like the gods of his people. This guy can't lose. This is crazy.
He was never afraid of him. That at the minimum, he was never afraid of him.
Let's talk about the pettiness. Let's talk about the pettiness. What are your thoughts?
I don't think it was.
He looks in the crowd, points out his son. His son's crying, and he does the drop. Call for, uncalled for. What do you think?
Maybe that piece is uncalled for, but I'm okay with that part of it. I don't know. Maybe the thing to the kid isn't pettiness, more just disrespectful. If you want to, call that piece of it, because I mean, if you're gonna call out anyone's family and an audience, doesn't really matter, especially but if a kid too. So that wasn't the best thing to see out there. If you're gonna talk your shit to the guy you just dropped. You know what I'm saying? I have no problems with shit talking, on your opponent especially if you drop them like that, and you went out and did what you said you were going to do it, and how you did it. But that particular piece on that part, I would say that wasn't the things
I'm
to
just,
do
I'm
on
just,
that piece. But
what I'm realizing is I don't like people who are not good winners. I'm not a fan of people who are not good winners. And he has developed a pattern of not being a good winner. When he beat Costa,
all right, well, I
he
mean,
gave him
if you
that
want to
home.
talk the overall, then I mean, I would
Yeah,
argue
and
that with
that's
you.
it, man. And then you got to go over to the father bill. You're a warrior. You're tough and da 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 da. Bro,
Yeah,
nah, man. I don't give him the pass on that. I thought that was corny. Of all the things, if I could describe it, I thought that shit was corny. I was like, dude, you're better. That's what I would give. You're better than that. You're better than that. Now he's being called out by this African guy, South African guy, and the South African guy says, "I'm the only real African. I train in Africa. I'm from Africa." And then when you see his face, he's white. He's like a real white guy, and everybody's like, "Huh?" It throws people off. But he's
I
like
didn't see who
born
it
and
was.
raised in Africa. You know what I mean? So he claims that to be and he wants to fight Izzy. That'd be a great one. That'd be a great one. I'd like to see that. Not on
What's the
any
guy's
skill
name?
level.
Do you remember?
No, man. I'd have to look it up, but it's hilarious.
No.
This guy is just straight up looking for the fight. But whatever. All right, let's move it on. NBA. Let's start in the East. Has anything really changed with the way the playoffs are laid out? Is there anything that or anybody that you see is standing out as far as the team in the East?
No, it's top two, arguably top three heavy. If AK was here, he would definitely argue with me on that. But with Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly, I really don't see anyone other than those three teams coming out of the East. Out of there. I think Milwaukee's going to come out of there in the end. I don't think it's going to be easy. But Chris Middleton needs to be there. But Milwaukee's pretty deep overall, and Chris Middleton hasn't really been there most of the year anyway. So they've still, they're still one of the best teams in the league, even without him being fully healthy. In terms of what I want to see out of these, and like I said, I don't think any of the, Miami plays the Bulls for the 8th seed. Yes, I'm a Bulls fan ish. I'm questioning that now. I may be up for sale for fandom. So but I don't think. I mean, the Heat are dangerous. If on a good night they can beat anybody, but they're not going to beat someone 4 games. Because they're too inconsistent. And and I'll let you talk about your series in a second because I know you'll want to address it. Your Cleveland versus the Knicks. So, but I just see Milwaukee coming out of it. Boston's Boston. It's really going to come down to is going to be Milwaukee versus Boston or Philly. That Philly-Boston series is going to be really good, and we're going to see what Joel Embiid is made of. I think he's going to win the MVP.
More than likely,
this year. More than likely. To me, if it was him, Jokic or Giannis winning it, I'm not going to argue or be mad if either one, any of them won. At this point, you have to nitpick something to kind of split the hairs between all three. But it's going to be Milwaukee versus or Philly because those two teams are going to have to play each other. I think Milwaukee comes out of it. I think Milwaukee's going to win the NBA title. And we'll probably get to that later on and over the playoffs. But I think we're out of that, out of the East for me. It's just really plain that simple. The Cleveland Knicks series, I think it's going to be a really good series. It may be the best series in the first round.
I think they're. I'm not going to go into it because I really want to talk about that with Javi and them. But I think that I think Cleveland is really well built for us. I think they.
I'm going to use that Stephen A thing I'm going to use Stephen A's because I agree with him on this. The Knicks better not lose to Cleveland, especially if it's Donovan Mitchell that takes them out. If he kills them when they could have had him. You know what I'm saying? So they could have had him.
Oh my God, yo, what?
I mean, it was a very, very thin reason why they couldn't get him. It wasn't like they were like far apart on shit and they couldn't make something happen. It was just a one piece away type of thing, and the Knicks were just about.
Be careful that he doesn't drop a 50 burger on them, just out of like spite. He might drop a 50 burger on them, so you got to be careful now. That's how that goes. You get passed up or whatever. You come in there with a chip and to blow shit up. But I want to talk. I want to hear Javi's, but I want to talk about the West. I think they fucked up. I think they fucked up by letting the Lakers in. I think the West fucked up. They should have kept those motherfuckers at home, bro. Those are two veterans that know how to win and know how to fucking save it for when it's time. So I think, man, listen, there's some teams that are gonna be in trouble. You got to face the Lakers in the first round. You know what I mean?
So you got them beating the Memphis Grizzlies?
I think they'll beat the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are a young team, very emotional. I think this team, he's a more cerebral. Yeah, I think that veteran wit will take them out. I think that it could beat them. Yeah, and another team people are kind of sleeping on, whatever, and not really sleeping on, but it's kind of whatever. Golden State, man. Golden State. Look, people underestimate having the championship pedigree. This is when it counts. Having that championship pedigree. You bring people that have been there, done that. This is it right now. This is when you bring them in, and this is when they're an asset to you. And I'm telling you, like, I see LeBron and Davis, and in that little circle, I see them matching up with anybody. They can match up with anybody. LeBron on fire, Davis on fire, forget it. Then you have these guys up north. You get Clay hot, you get my man hot,
Steph.
Get Steph hot, and you got Draymond
Wiggins
running that offense. You got him running that offense, bro. Oh, Wiggins will be back. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I don't think I've never been a believer in the Suns. I'm not a believer in the Suns. I don't think. First of all, I've never been a believer that Durant could be that guy. So there's nothing to convince me. I believe that Booker is a solid A- player. He's like an A- player. He's not that star, but he's very good. But no, and you know how I feel about what's his name? Fucking.
I was gonna say the only reason you don't like Phoenix is because you don't like Chris Paul. Let's just call it.
I never liked Chris Paul. You must be.
Let's just call it what it is. It ain't about Durant. It ain't about Booker. It ain't about the short bench, the no bench that they have.
Yeah.
But in the playoffs, a no bench doesn't really matter because you shorten the rotations anyway.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I think Golden State's going to beat Sacramento, and I don't even think that would be an upset. I think Golden State's going to beat them, and it is what it is. Sacramento's young. Yeah, so I think that. I won't disagree about the Lakers. Yes, they're fucking dangerous. Mm-hmm. I think they will beat Memphis, and then we'll see what happens in the next round. Who would they end up playing in the next round? Oh, they would play. Who do you think they don't match up? Warriors. They would play the Warriors.
Oh
no! I think first of all, the West overall is wide open. So let's just it is what it is. But if the Lakers beat Memphis and Golden State beats Sacramento, they would play each other in the second round, and then we're gonna see what everyone thinks, right? Phoenix Clippers. The Clippers are the deepest team. They have the most talent on the team. But it's the same old fucking story. Paul George is hurt, or Kawhi was hurt, or they were both hurt. It is, they have a great coach, but it's like, what Clippers team are we going to get?
Yeah, no, right? That. I just don't trust them.
Phoenix is, with Durant, as far as two high octane, impactful players, and you got a big guy in Ayton to, on the defensive end and rebound, and you don't have to get a lot from Chris Paul in terms of like points. You just got to run the offense. You get you 15 to 20, but run the offense. And
but I also think he's becoming a liability on defense.
Fair.
He's not the fast
because he's not the pitbull that he used to be. He He used to be that.
Mhm.
And then as far as Denver, because everyone's kind of almost forgetting about Denver, the number 1 seed. Who are they going to play? Either the Thunder or the Timberwolves. Timberwolves are a hot mess.
Hot, man. You saw that Kyle Anderson getting punched by Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, and then not even that. McDaniel was fucking punching the wall, breaking his fucking hand like a fucking genius. But I need to see Denver. They got to do something, man. They got to go to the Western Conference Finals for me. You know what I'm saying?
That's the knock. That's the knock right there, bro. Yeah, that's the knock.
It's not even just about Jokic. You're the 1 seed. You've been the best, all year in the Western Conference. You're deep. You have a lot of good players. It isn't just about Jokic. Jokic is doing his job. You know what I'm saying? He's damn near averaging a triple-double. He's doing his job. But, it's the team itself, to me, has to come through with this success that they're having.
Right.
Get to the Western Conference. And we'll see if you're up against the Lakers or the Warriors, because that's who I think will come out of that, right? After that second round. Don't ask me who would win between the Warriors and the Lakers right now. I need to see how they play in the first round, but there, in the Western Conference Finals, they have to be. And I know they'd have to play either the Clippers or the Suns in the second round, but I think they can beat those 2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the biggest take that I need to see out of the Western Conference. Man. Do something with all this fucking success you're having.
Yeah.
You were clearly the best team in the West, just from an overall. Everybody else had flaws. You know what I'm saying? Every other team had flaws. Morant, Ja with his off the field stuff, even though they didn't really much of a beat, but the Lakers are a hot mess until they made those trades. Sacramento is an upstart, but there's nothing spectacular about them. Golden State has been inconsistent all year, but it's
right?
So let's Denver. You got to get there. You got to get to the Western Conference Finals. You got to do that at least. To me, that's my biggest thing. And as far as who I out of there, so if I'm saying that I need to see Denver, then I'm going to expect to see Denver in the Western Conference Finals. I can't decide if it's going to be the Lakers or the Warriors. I can't decide if it's going to be the Lakers. So I need to see how they play in the first round. It's veteran presence against both teams.
Yeah, against rookies to the game. Yeah.
If you were to ask, because I'm the analytical one and all that stuff, but if you want to tap into my emotional side or who I'm rooting for, I will always root for LeBron. I will always root for LeBron. I, the Bulls fan, the MJ, who's the greatest ever for me, but I will always root for LeBron because to me he's the greatest fucking talent I've ever seen, and yes, he's to me the second greatest player ever. So I will always root for him, no matter what. I think for some areas, for some people, he gets too much flack. He's automatically hated because of the Jordan discussion, automatically, or people just don't like him for whatever fucking reason. And he gets too much shit for no apparent reason.
Our age,
it's not about the basketball. Like, how can you hate his game? You hate him for other reasons.
There you go.
Yeah. But I will always root for LeBron. So I would love to see the Lakers in the fucking finals versus Milwaukee or Boston. That shit would be fucking awesome too. So that's my take on that.
Moving on, let's go to early impact of the MLB
pitch count.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. So obviously I went to the Marlins Mets home opener. Didn't watch much of the game because it was a company event and we were drinking and talking shit. But I was watching because we were beating them. But I think so far it's been a good thing. There's been a lot of games that are just been like 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 15 minutes. They're going by quick. There's been some 3-hour games. That's because there's been offense on the field. Close games and things like that. So early on, I like it. I think it's going to be better for the game. It may hopefully get people to watch them more because, hey, they're not that long. watch it on TV, especially on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Get people more interested in it. I still am up in the air with the shift rules, how that's impacting it right now. But the pitch count, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's funny how a couple of mistakes have been made by players forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
You get called out, because you stepped out of the box again, and that was your third strike. Oh well, sorry. So it is what it is. But like I said, really quick early thought. I think it's really good. It's the games seem to be better, and I'm happy with it. And what Tampa Bay is doing right now is sick.
Is it?
It's sick what they're doing.
They beat Detroit.
Dude, this is baseball, man. This is baseball. This is not a week NFL. 1 game a week NFL. It's baseball, man. And they're the second lowest payroll in the freaking league.
Yeah, that's
they're just playing baseball.
Yeah,
but they're killing people. That's the thing. They're killing them. They're not just winning like a 1 run. They're killing people.
I want to see if they last, though, man. I want to see if they can hang that. At least, stay.
I know you hate it as a Yankee fan. I know you're hating it.
I know. I really do. They got us once before already.
Yeah. But it's good. I'm enjoying it.
All right, well. Yo, one last thing I wanted to talk about. Yo, that Coach Prime effect. How do you sell out a spring game?
I'm not
surprised. My man
surprised.
sold out a spring game. Has the only university to have ESPN go see them.
Florida,
only one. He sold out. He's in Colorado, and he just said, "Hey, come buy these tickets." And everybody went out there and they bought the tickets. And his team is the only one that's going to be on ESPN, not ESPN2, not college ESPN, ESPN broadcast. And this guy is just moving, bro. People are predicting, he's going to win 4 games. Yo, he wins 4 games, 5 games. That's 4 or 5 games is a realistic.
Anything Colorado's done in the yeah.
That's a step. That's a huge step,
especially in that conference. Especially
that's a 100% upgrade.
That the pack, that pack division is going to be a lot better this year in this upcoming season. They've got 2 of the best quarterbacks playing in.
Very good quarterbacks in that league, but
so
that's it, man.
4 or 5 wins.
Yeah,
it'll be good for them.
I got them beating Nebraska week 2. I got them beating Nebraska week 2. That's a tough call, but I got them beating Nebraska week 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, my man, you got anything else you want to add in there? You want to jump in with?
No.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for joining us in our living room, join us in our barbershop where we shoot from the cuff or we use analytics. Either one, man, you're going to get what's on our mind. I really appreciate you guys coming out, listening, commenting. If you like what you hear, definitely comment, like, share, let people know about us. It's always a good time. We're always just going to chat it up. Nothing personal, everything just fun and light. Here, this is where we go to get away from reality. This is not our reality. This is sports. This is our love language. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Twain once said, the 2 most important days of your life are the day you're born and the day you discover why. I am your host, Dropping Dimes, a.k.a. the Hopeful Romantic, a.k.a. the Feminist with Chauvinist Tendency, and I'm here with my man, P.D. Pablo, a.k.a. L. Schefter. And from the bottom of our hearts, we'd like to say thank you very much for helping us walk in our why. Have a good one night, ladies and gentlemen. Peace. Peace, peace, peace.